everybody, I'm Brutazilla, and this video is a special video because it has been requested by my Kaiju brother, Leslie Chambers. He asked me to do my top 10 Godzilla movies, and it was really, really hard to do. Because, honestly, I love all of these Godzilla movies equally, and just to pick 10 of them was very, very difficult for me. It was hard, but it was really, really fun to do. I just want to say also, this is my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies. This is not like saying it's the ultimate list, and this is just my opinions, and, you know, please respect them. Without further ado, let's get started, guys. Number 10. King Kong vs. Godzilla. What I like about this movie is pretty much just the concept of having such two iconic monsters, King Kong, America, and Godzilla, Japan, duking it out. Even though King Kong was small, the original King Kong compared to Godzilla, Toho just made him big as Godzilla without even questioning the origin. They just made their own little story, and they made a goofy King Kong suit, but I love it. It's a lot better in my opinion than the King Kong Escape suit. I think this suit's a lot better, and the Godzilla suit in this movie is really, really good as well. It's just such an iconic Godzilla suit. I love how he's got like that reptilian look, and then how he's like one of the only Godzillas that I can think of that he's a cocky Godzilla. Because when he's fighting King Kong, which is probably the best scenes in this whole movie, the fights, that's what makes this movie so enjoyable. But then again, that's every Godzilla movie. He's like cocky, and he don't care. He claps his claws together and makes some clicking sound, and that's just hilarious. How he thinks he's got the upper hand on King Kong, and he does until the end of the fight, where King Kong's ability is electricity, lightning. He absorbs the lightning from a thunderstorm, and then that's when he's on par with Godzilla, and then Godzilla has a real fight on his hand. But yeah, the fight is really, really good at the end, and also the music in this movie. Now, I got both Blu-rays here because they really are two different movies. This is pretty much filled with stock music because this is the Universal version that we all grew up and saw, and it took out almost all the Toho music, all of Akira Ifukube's music, except for the King Kong theme, which thankfully was preserved, but it doesn't keep all the cool Godzilla music, like the Godzilla theme, which is in this version, which is why I had to get the Blu-ray, Japanese Toho Blu-ray of it. Sadly, this doesn't have subtitles, but I've seen these movies a million times, so I don't care. Yeah, overall, really, really great movie. And also, King Kong pretty much was declared the winner. Toho said he won, and it's like that in both versions. So the rumor about King Kong winning the American and Godzilla winning the Japanese, false. King Kong has officially won in both, and I think the reason is because of his electricity powers. When King Kong and Godzilla went into the ocean, King Kong, I think it boosted King Kong's electricity power, because obviously water and electricity don't mix, and it probably shocked Godzilla, the heck out of Godzilla, and it just knocked him out unconscious. So that's why I think King Kong won this fight, just because of electricity power. So yeah, I just love this movie, and that is why it is number 10. Number 9. I had to cheat. I couldn't think. I couldn't pick one over the other, so I'm letting you know right now, number 9, I had to cheat. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. Such an iconic movie because it is the first appearance of one of Godzilla's most popular arch rivals. I would say one of his arch rivals, the three-headed dragon, King Ghidorah himself. And this is also pretty much the first movie where we have Rodan in a Godzilla movie, and Mothra larva too as well. So we have 4 monsters in a movie. This is the first time where they do like 4 monsters in a in a kaiju movie, and the fight is really, really good. The story's good too, but the fight is where it's at in this movie, especially with Godzilla and Rodan duking it out in the middle, and then Mothra, telling them, hey, we got to team up against King Ghidorah. He's the bigger threat. So that's when they decide to, all team up at the end because of Mothra Larva's bravery at the end, trying to put up a fight against King Ghidorah, which was to no avail. And then also it's such an iconic movie as well because Godzilla, this is the first movie that leans Godzilla towards being a hero. After the first 4 films, where he was pretty much a villain, this is the first movie where they lean towards the hero thing for the kids, pretty much. And yeah, that's why it is number 9. And King Ghidorah is such an iconic monster because also he's like Batman is to Joker and Gamera is to Gauss, Godzilla's arch rival, which is really, really cool. And like I said, I had to cheat, and the reason I'm saying I had to cheat is because this is also number 9 for me. I couldn't pick one or the other. This is such a great movie as well. What I like about this movie is the story. The story is really, really good in this movie, and the characters are really good as well. I love the Planet X people. I love Nick Adams' performance in this movie as well, and Akira Takarada's really good in this movie too. I don't know what the heck that was, but Akira Takarada's really good in this movie as well. And like I said, the story is really good in this movie. I think this is one of the best kaiju-related movies that has, for when it comes to aliens taking over the world, this is the best kaiju movie, I think, when it comes to the Godzilla movies, the best alien story. And fortunately, we got a good story, but we don't have enough monster action. And the monsters that are in it are Godzilla and Rodan from the previous film here, fighting King Ghidorah. And obviously the story is the aliens try to, faking they're faking that they're friends, and they end up turning against the humans, which is what aliens always mostly do in these monster movies, kaiju movies. And what also they said was Mothra was supposed to be in this movie, but because of all the special effects and the I guess everything they had, the budget was too low, so they couldn't include Mothra. But I think it was kind of for the best in a way. It would have been great to see Mothra again, but I think it was kind of best in a way only because maybe the alien story wouldn't have worked so well. Maybe not, but I think it wouldn't have worked so well only because maybe the fairies would have seen through the Planet X aliens. They would have seen through them. They're like, they know they're evil, we know they're not here to become friends and stuff and to give us a miracle cure and stuff. So yeah, it would have worked, and then it kind of wouldn't work, but I think they would have worked their way around it. It would have been great to see Mothra in this movie, maybe an adult Mothra, but if the budget was so low, probably not. But that is why I could not pick one or the other. That is why both had to be in here. These are both great movies. This is good for the monster action, and this one is good for the story, but they're both great movies in my opinion. That is why this is number 9. Number 8. Mothra vs. Godzilla. This is another great Godzilla movie. I just love everything about this movie. Godzilla's design is just really, really good. I love how evil and powerful Godzilla is portrayed in this movie. And then how he's got the unusual entrance of coming out of the dirt, which is like not normal for Godzilla unless you're counting the American Godzilla, digging and stuff. But pretty much the main story focuses around the Mothra egg, and somehow Godzilla wants to get the egg or whatever. Just a big old story around the egg. And Mothra's design in this movie is really good. This is the first time Godzilla and Mothra go into a movie, because Godzilla is Toho's popular monster, and Mothra was also Toho's popular monster. So they thought, why don't we just put these two together in a movie? And this was such a great movie. Everything is great about this movie. Like I said, the Godzilla suit in it, I love it because of the eyebrows. I joke with my buddy Brendan, saying that this is, I call him the Rock Godzilla, so that way Brendan knows, oh, that's the Godzilla 64 suit, Butch, right? Yeah, it is. But yeah, I just love this movie. The music in this movie is really good as well. Well, if you watch the Japanese version, which is uncut, but the American version is good too, because like you got the scene where the U.S. Navy attacks Godzilla and with their ships, but apparently they cut it out of the Japanese version. I guess they filmed it, but for some reason in Japan, but for some reason it didn't make the Japanese cut. So I don't understand why they took it out, but yeah, I like how Mother Mothra dies protecting her baby, her eggs, which is real sad. But the babies do get revenge, and by playing the numbers game on Godzilla, like Leslie said, like you said in your video, dude, how they use their speed on Godzilla, and that's how they're able to defeat Godzilla with the cocoon, the cocoon and stuff. And yeah, like I said, I just love this movie. It's a great fun movie to watch. Love how Godzilla's portrayed as the ultimate villain in this movie, because nothing could stop him. Like I love the scenes where he's getting electrocuted. That didn't work, and then when they dropped the nets on him, electrocute him. That still didn't work. Just a really powerful Godzilla, even though he was defeated by two little Mothra larvas. But you want the Mothras to win. That's how it should be. Mothra's the ultimate good guy in each Godzilla movie, so that's how it should be. But yeah, and also great performance by all the human actors in this movie as well. Kira Takarada as well. So yeah, great movie, and that is why it is number 8. Okay, here we go. Number 7. We have the original Godzilla King of the Monsters, or Gojira, or I think pronounced in Japanese, Godzilla. I'm not 100% on that, but yeah, the one that started all, the original black and white classic. You can't go wrong with this one. I think this is, whether this is in your top 10 favorite movie list or not, this is probably in every Godzilla fan's special place in their heart, because it's the one that pretty much started a hit, a cult hit, such an icon. And how he started out was he was pretty much a metaphor for the nuclear attacks and H-bomb testings in the Pacific, and obviously it turned into something more. What started out as that pretty much turned into a monster hit, especially in America when they edited it and made it just a B monster movie. Well, technically, to cash in at the time of all the other monster movies like Them, Giant Ants, and 20,000 Beats, Fathoms, whatever. I forgot the name of the title at the moment, but great movie though, by the way. Yeah, but they edited Raymond Burr into the movie, who plays Steve Martin, a narrator, and yeah, obviously I seen the American version growing up, and I recommend getting this Criterion Blu-ray because this has both versions, the American version and the uncut Japanese version. They're both great movies, well, with subtitles, by the way. Both great movies. This is probably the best Blu-ray or DVD version if you get the DVD. But this is going to be the best copy of these two movies that you're going to find anywhere else. The Criterion Collection, not the Classic Media, but the Criterion Collection. And I just love how the story is a dark story, obviously, because the setting of what it's supposed to be, and the Godzilla suit, the Godzilla design in this movie is really, really good as well. It's just such an iconic look for him when he first started out. I adore the suit, and this is such an iconic character. This is Akira Takarada's first Godzilla movie, and then I don't know his actor name, but it made the iconic character Dr. Serizawa, because he was the one who actually made a weapon that actually stops Godzilla or kills Godzilla, the only man-made weapon ever to actually work against Godzilla. And yeah, obviously they rework him into the new Godzilla 2014 movie, so yeah, that shows you how iconic he is. And yeah, overall, I just really enjoy this movie. I just love watching it, and nothing really more to say. It's just a great damn movie. So that is why it is number 7. All right, we are on to number 6. Son of Godzilla. This is, I think, one of the most underrated Godzilla movies, and I think it is because of Godzilla's son, Minya. I love Minya. He's my favorite of the Godzilla offsprings, and you know, he's funny. I love his look. I think he's a cute kaiju, and everything about this movie is really good. The music, because the music, especially Minya's theme, fits him. I don't really care for the Godzilla suit because apparently they tried to make the Godzilla suit look like Minya, which was kind of a mistake. But you know, it is what it is. It's, you know, it's still an iconic suit. Yeah, but like I said, it's one of the most underrated movies. I think it's got a good story. The human characters are interesting as well, and also the kaiju are in it are interesting as well because besides Mothra being the only insect kaiju that we've seen, I think I'm not sure how many insect kaiju there are now that I think about it, but obviously we get another set of insect kaiju in this movie. Giant praying mantises called Kamacuras, or in the English dub version, Gigantis, but I like Kamakura better. And the same thing with the other one, the giant spider, Kumonga. English dub named Spyga, Kumonga better. But yeah, such great kaiju. And like I said, Minya is adorable in this movie. I love how he acts kind of like a human child, and you know, it's just him being lonely. He wants to play, and there's no one to play. And Godzilla, he just wants to sleep all day in this movie. But the Minya antics are funny. I love how like when he threw a temper tantrum and Godzilla just dragged him by his tail, and then also when he was playing jump rope on Godzilla's tail, that was funny as well. He's just jumping and then he's standing on it and keeping his balance and he just falls over. And then also when Godzilla steps on his tail to when they're practicing atomic breathing, and Minya manages to, you know, blow the fire out. Such a great movie. I think it's really underrated. It's one of my favorites. I love the characters. I love the story, and the fights are really good as well. You get a bunch of fights in this one, and I also want to say what I like also about this movie. A couple things. One, this is my dad's favorite Godzilla movie because he likes Minya as well. That's one of his favorite kaiju. Thinks Minya's cute as well. And also, I remember us watching this on a Christmas morning one day. I just wanted to watch this movie for some reason on Christmas morning, and we just watched it together, me and him. And yeah, it's something I'll never forget. Watching this movie with my dad. He's not really too big of a Godzilla fan. He likes Godzilla, but not as big as me and my mother. Me and my mother are really big Godzilla fans. So yeah. And then also another thing about this movie before I go to the next one. This is the only Godzilla movie that I can remember, and I think my parents that can remember too, that ever made me cry, and it is because of the ending. After Godzilla and Minya are, you know, after they defeat Kumonga and then they're going back to their home, it's snowing and Minya is pretty much cold. He's weakened. He can't continue. So Godzilla goes up to him and grabs him, and he's hugging him, holding him. The music that they're playing is just really sad, and I instantly thought they were gonna die. I ran to my mother, and I'm yelling, "Mom, Mom, they died, And I'm like, Godzilla died. I used to call Godzilla Godzilla, but my mom was, you know, reassured me that they were just, no, they're not dead. They just went to sleep. They're hibernating. And I didn't stick around to find that out, but obviously I'm a little kid. I didn't know what hibernation was anyway. I had to, you know, she explained it to me, and then the movie explained it as well. But Yeah, that's why this is one of those Godzilla movies that hold a special place in my heart, because it's the only one that ever made me cry. That is why this has had to be in my top 10, and it is number 6. Next up, Godzilla vs. Gigan. Such an awesome movie. This is one of those Godzilla movies among my other top 10 that I can just watch constantly. It's such a great movie. Even though I said Monster Zero had the best aliens, this is probably my second favorite when it comes to alien movies, or alien kaiju Godzilla movies. I like the aliens, how they're cockroach people. It's funny because I hate cockroaches, but the fact that the aliens are cockroaches in human suits, kind of like Men in Black, it's kind of a cool concept, especially since it's an old Godzilla movie. And the human characters are funny in this movie. I love, what's his name, Gengo, I think the main guy, the manga artist, and his girlfriend. The stuff they do is really hilarious. Like when he drew the Mamagon, and it looks like her, I guess, with the shirt, the same checkered shirt. And she sees it, and she's like, is there a certain resemblance here? And he's laughing, and she goes, you cheeky pig. Just really funny lines in this movie. And then my other favorite is where he's being held up by that hippie guy and then his girlfriend. And then he's like, where's the tape? Where is it? Oh, where? And then the guy passes out. She's like, oh my gosh, I think he fainted. Oh, and he goes, oh, he must have thought it was a gun. And then he just pulls out a corn cob wrapped in foil. This was a great Godzilla movie because I love the Godzilla suit in this. It's such an iconic suit. We see King Ghidorah make a comeback. Damn light. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, King Ghidorah makes a comeback in this movie, but he's not like he used to be, because I think because of the budget, I think they couldn't have him go crazy like he used to, like all nuts and stuff. He seems kind of slow and sluggish in this movie. That's why they use a lot of stock footage with King Ghidorah. You know, for Monster Zero and Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, him at his best. But also we get Anguirus, a really cool kaiju. I love Anguirus to death. He's one of my favorite kaiju. You know, next to Godzilla and Rodan and them. But yeah. Also, the main monster himself, Gigan, can't forget him. He's such a bizarre kaiju. Looks like a robotic space chicken, as people like to say. And he's a cyborg, a weird cyborg. So, yeah, just an interesting kaiju. I love Gigan, especially the original Gigan. Showa Gigan. I like Final Wars Gigan as well, but I think if I had to pick one, I like Showa better than Final Wars. But Final Wars is a really good Gigan as well. Also, the fight in this movie, this is like, I think one of the first movies where we get a tag team matchup, 2 monsters against 2. Really great fights, which you know, the parts that aren't stock footage, and the music in this is really good. Especially the Gigan theme. Godzilla's fighting Gigan, where after he gets beat up and he's ready to fight Gigan, and the girl's like, Godzilla's strong again. And then it plays right there when Godzilla's having finally his one-on-one fight with Gigan. Also, this movie holds a special place in my heart because it is my little cousin's / little brother's favorite Godzilla movie as well. His all-time favorite Godzilla movie. And when I watch this movie or anything relating to this movie, I think of him. But yeah, that's why I love this movie. Really great movie. That's why I had to get all 4 X-Plus figures of it. Definitely my favorite Showa Godzilla movie. And yeah, that is why it had to be in number 5. Number 4. Godzilla 2014. Yes, this is definitely in my top 10. I love this movie. This is such a great movie. I love all the everything about this movie, except for the main fact that Bryan Cranston died too early in this movie. He should have been living longer, or at least been the main star in this movie, or both. But I think that's the only gripe I have with this movie. Other than that, it's a great movie. I love all the special effects, all the CGI work in this. This is a lot better movie than the first American Godzilla movie we got. This is definitely legendary Godzilla, as I like to call him. Godzilla design in this movie is really, really great. I love how he kind of resembles like this guy here. I still have to do the X-Plus review of him, but he reminds me of like a big giant grizzly bear kind of. Just the way he looks, and I love how his design looks. Sorry guys, the light isn't cooperating with me today. But as I was saying, I love the way the design looks. I think Gareth Edwards, the director of this Godzilla movie, did a lot of things on animals. He studied a lot of animals and stuff, and he based this Godzilla like on a grizzly bear, bald eagle. I guess bald eagle. He said he based it on a bald eagle because I guess the way he looks majestic. Good enough for me. I love bald eagles. And I love his skin reminds me, and I think he said it too, it's like a crocodile armor. It looks like a crocodile armor, and if you look at an actual crocodile's hands and feet, Godzilla's hands resemble that of a crocodile, which is really, really cool. So they make them kind of realistic based on actual animal features, which is really cool. And yeah, I just love the design. If you've seen or have the Godzilla Art of Destruction book based on this movie, it shows a lot of concept art in there. Believe me, we were better off with this Godzilla design because all the concept art in that book, whoa, most of it was pretty bad. Maybe a couple good ones in there, but most of the concept art that he was supposed to look like, really bad. It would have been worse than the American Godzilla movie if we gotten most of those pretty much. But I'm happy with what we got, and also, despite the story being pretty good, and yeah, I believe there could have been. I think the reason we want more monster action because of the teases we got. I didn't like the teases, especially the airport tease. The airport tease made me mad because the build-up we had, and then we saw Godzilla in all his glory. Majestically, the camera rises, he roars, and then we get to see the fight through a little kid's TV. Wow. And then, later on they did it again, and this one made my mom mad because when the doors closed, they showed the Godzilla and the male Muto fighting, and then that's it. You don't get to see what else happens. But they save all the good stuff for the ending, and I think it was really good, despite being saved for the end. And the fight was really good too. When we saw Godzilla's atomic breath, that was really, really great. And Godzilla was just unstoppable, especially if we fought them one-on-one. But when they used the number games on Godzilla, that's when he was in trouble. And thanks to the kid Ford, he saved Godzilla by destroying the eggs, and that gave Godzilla the chance. And we saw Godzilla's breath, really gorgeous, beautiful, and CGI and stuff, the way it looked. And I love this Godzilla movie because we got to see two things that we never saw in any Godzilla movies. The way he killed the Mutos. And it's interesting because when he killed the first Muto, it's something we never saw before, where he actually killed a monster with his tail. Now, I don't think Godzilla used his tail before, but he's never used it where he kills his opponent. So when he struck that Muto with his tail, it was just incredible because it was with such force. Even though he used the building to initially kill him, it still caused that Muto to die with that great tail whip. It was just wham! Godzilla had enough of his shit and right into the building, and I think that thing went through the Muto's head and ultimately killed him. But it was a cool death scene just because we never saw him use his tail before, make a kill. And the best part was obviously the ending when he grabbed the female Muto's jaws, and I thought he was going to pull a King Kong and break her jaw. Like, well, that'd be cool to see, but we got even something better, which Godzilla fans have dubbed the Kiss of Death. And Godzilla just launches that breath right down her throat. I was like, whoa, what the heck? It really, really cool. And then her head just rips off. He's holding her head like a trophy, and he's just roaring. he's done, drops it in the ocean. Really cool. I just love that. And the ending too, because we thought I kind of thought, me and my mom thought pretty much he died. And then when he rose and snorted, and then he got back up, started walking away, and everybody's cheering, King of the Monsters, Savior of our city, with a question mark. It ultimately showed that apparently this Godzilla, for Legendary, is a hero. And I pretty much prefer Godzilla being a hero. I do love him as the villain as well, but I pretty much prefer him as the hero. But, that's just my opinion. A lot of my Godzilla movies I like, he's a villain, but, hero, villain, whatever. He's always going to be my hero, obviously, Godzilla. Whether he's the hero or the villain or the anti-hero. But, also, this also holds a special place in my heart because this is my mom's favorite Godzilla movie of all time. She was a big Godzilla fan before me. She got me into Godzilla, and all the Godzilla movies, that obviously all the movies, this is her all-time #1 favorite, and it's with good reason. Such a great movie, and that is why it had to be in my top 10. Number 4. Okay, on to number 3. Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Such an awesome movie, and a very powerful movie at that too. This was supposed to be the grand finale, the one that was supposed to end it all, in 1995. And after this, there was supposed to be no more Godzilla movies. But luckily for us, that wasn't true, and they made more. But if this was supposed to be the end, and there was supposed to be no more, this would have been a great end, I believe. And just so many great things about this movie. The Godzilla design in this movie is just amazing, I guess. It's basically the suit used in the '94 movie Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, and all they did was add a whole bunch of lights inside to make it like light up and glow. Condition where he's pretty much on the verge of an explosion, which ends up later turning into a meltdown. So basically, this whole theme of this movie is Godzilla's going to die. And we get also one of Godzilla's most strongest opponents ever created, Destroyer, which is basically the oxygen destroyer from the original black and white Godzilla, born into a monster. So this movie, even though this is the 7th film in the Heisei series, this movie ties in really well with the original black and white movie. Possibly even a little bit better than Godzilla 1984. Because I forgot her name, but the lady who played Emiko in the black and white movie, she comes back in this movie and reprises her role, and just so many things happen that bring back basically one of the greatest weapons that ever killed the first Godzilla, the Oxygen Destroyer. And we also get little Godzilla, baby Godzilla I should say, who ends up becoming little Godzilla and Space Godzilla, and then he becomes Godzilla Jr. in this movie. Because of Godzilla's transformation, he ended up destroying the island, and then baby Godzilla, little Godzilla, turns into Junior. So yeah, a lot of great stuff in this movie, and also the fights are really good between Godzilla Jr. and Destroyer before he turns into his ultimate form, and then of course Godzilla and Destroyer final form himself. And then also we got the Super X makes a comeback in Super X3, armed with ice weapons, ice lasers or whatever, to counter Godzilla's meltdown. And the music in this is just really, really great. This is one of Akira Ifukube's best when it comes to the music for the score for this movie. Also, the ending is just really terrific too. His ending credit song that plays during the credits when he mixes the Godzilla theme, and near the end the King Kong theme in there too as well. Really great movie, powerful movie. It's really heartbreaking when Godzilla does end up dying. it's just real sad to see him melt down, and then you just see his bones. It's real sad. I mean, even though it's I never cried though. You know, possibly if I saw this as a little kid, I would probably be bawling like I did with Son of Godzilla. But thankfully I didn't. So yeah, this didn't make me cry at all. It made me sad when I first saw it, but because it is such a sad moment in Godzilla history. But luckily, after he melts down, Junior, who apparently was pronounced dead, or you think he's dead, ends up coming back, becoming the new Godzilla, and then that just ends the Heisei trilogy, the Heisei series. So yeah, just a great movie, and that is why I had to include it in my top 10, and that is why it is number 3. Number 2, Godzilla vs. Biollante. I just love this movie. It's a great movie. I've seen this about 1,000,000 times. I love this movie. It's such a great concept. The fact that it was done as a contest, and it was picked by having for Godzilla's next opponent be a giant rose monster, and the way they mix the story in, how it's a cross between a human girl, a plant, a rose, and Godzilla's cells, which creates this giant, horrific, cool-looking monster who, obviously first form as a rose, and the second she evolves into some giant crocodile-like head and stuff, and all more Godzilla somewhat looking. And also, this is Miss Mark's Megumi Odaka's, who played Miki Sugusa's, her first role in a Godzilla movie. And then after this, she plays in 6 Godzilla movies in the Heisei series. This is her very first movie, when she takes up the role of the psychic girl. And yeah, Godzilla, I just love the Godzilla suit. That's why I got the X-Plus right here. Thanks to my Kaiju brother, Leslie. I just adore this figure. I love this Godzilla design, and the movie is awesome. The music, even though the whole score isn't done by Akira Ifukube, you got the Godzilla theme in there, but the whole score isn't done by him. But the music in there is really good, though. It's really, really good. And you got the Super X2 as well. The Super X, the upgraded that one, Super X2. I love the designs on it, the weapon, how it's able to repel Godzilla's breath with a diamond. Really cool idea. And the fight with Biollante, it's really physical sometimes when it comes to like the blood and stuff. There's a lot of blood in it, really gory. But yeah, I think this is one of the most realistic Godzilla movies out there. And I remember, I think I was at school, and my dad had recorded this for me on a VHS when it was on TV on HBO. I believe I told him about it and recorded it, or he found out about it and he recorded it for me. I forgot what it was at the time, but I just remember coming home, my dad giving me the tape, said, "I taped it for you," and I watched it, and I couldn't believe it. It was a brand new Godzilla movie. It was on HBO. He taped it for me on a VHS tape, and I just fell in love with it because it was a sequel to Godzilla. It was a direct sequel to Godzilla 1984 or 1985. Just a great movie. Everything about it is awesome. It is definitely one of my favorite Heisei movies, and that is why pretty much, and Biollante is such an awesome kaiju as well. Great concept, and that is pretty much why this is definitely number 2. Alright, the last one. My number 1 Godzilla movie. Godzilla 1998.
It's Gojira, you moron!
Gotcha. No, it's a great movie, but it is definitely not number 1. Great movie, though. Yep, Godzilla 1984, my all-time favorite Godzilla movie. I just had to set it all up like this. This is everything that I think I got everything that I currently own of Godzilla 1984 or Godzilla 1985. This is just my favorite, all-time favorite Godzilla movie. Why? I just love it. Like I said, even though I love Godzilla being the hero the most, I love how Godzilla is like portrayed as the ultimate villain in this movie. He's like, it's a real dark movie, just real fun to watch. The story's really good. The Godzilla suit is just beautiful and amazing. I love the suit design. Really gorgeous suit. You know, the suit and the Cybot Godzilla. If you don't know what that is, look it up pretty much on Google. It's pretty much a giant robotic Godzilla that they made for the close-up shots of Godzilla, you know, for the animatronics and stuff. But yeah, both Cybot and the suit look amazing. The story's really good, and the music in it, even though there's no Akira Ifukube in this movie, music in this movie, still just great. It's just chilling and haunting, and everything about it is just great to me. You know, the fight, even though there's no other monsters in there, the fight when he fights the Super X, the original Super X, the one that actually was able to take Godzilla down, and you know, Godzilla got back up after a little sleep and ended up. It was one of those other kills too, like I mentioned in 2014, a unique kill. He unique killed this guy. I think it was the one and only time he killed anything. Well, killed the people inside, but killed or made a kill pretty much with a building, I believe. He just knocked a building right on top of the Super X and just crushed it. Crushed the aircraft and crushed the people inside. Just another unique death. And I gotta say, I do love the American version of this movie better. They change a lot of stuff in the American and the Japanese version. The Japanese makes the Russians the good guys. Well, that's how it was pretty much in the original film. They're trying to stop the nuclear missile from going off, but the guy dies in an explosion or something because it accidentally got launched. But in the American version, they make the Russians unpurposely, you know, push the button and make it look like they push the button to launch the missile. So that, you know, it's pretty much like America, you know, Cold War pretty much. But yeah, what I even though a lot of people don't like the scenes that they added in the American version as well, they did it like the black and white movie where they added American scenes in there. I find them enjoyable. You know, people are kind of, well, the guy, one goofy guy is pretty funny. I think he is. He's an ass, but he's still kind of funny with his remarks and stuff. Like, oh, look at the big screen, General. Wonder Lizard is down for the count. You know, stuff like stupid shit he says. But also, they bring back the iconic, you know, Raymond Burr back in this movie. He reprises his role, and he's got a much better role in this movie than he did in the original black and white movie. Because, you know, they look to him for information and as to what they're dealing with. Also, it's weird how they change some of the sound effects. What I mean by that is when Godzilla roars and stuff, the sound effects are different, especially at the ending. The ending, when it's like one of the most saddest, well, besides the Destroyer one ending, it's another sad Godzilla moment where he follows the bird calls, and then he ends up going to the volcano, and the explosions just blast him into the volcano from underneath, and the way he dives into the volcano is just really sad because the scream, you never hear Godzilla scream, and he was scared, he was screaming as he falls down this volcano, and you think he's dead, but he's not dead. Thankfully, he comes back in Godzilla vs. Biollante, but I didn't know that. But like I said, I don't think I cried. My parents never said I cried in this movie. But yeah, it was still really sad because you didn't know if he was going to live or not at the time, because it wasn't later till HBO picked up the rights and, you know, we were able to see Biollante later on. And you know, yeah, I just love this movie. Watched it a million times. Everything about it is amazing. I love all the scenes in it. One of my favorite scenes has got to be when they're attacking him in the ocean and stuff, and just all the water coming up, splashing, just everything about that, and then how when he just blasts everybody on the shore, the bank, whatever you want to call it, with his radiation, and then he just looks at him like, and then he roars. Really cool scene there. I also got a cool story about this. My mom and dad, I was pretty much born in 1984, and this movie came out in 1985. That's why they got 2 titles for it. And when it came out in theaters in 1985, my mom, being the big Godzilla fan that she was, had to go see it. And they don't remember too much, but they brought me along, and I was not even a year old. They brought me along to go to the theater, both my parents, and while the movie was playing, I was, I kept crying, they told me. So they had to keep taking turns, taking me outside the theater, so I could cry. But I guess, if I had to say, it's just weird because it's in a way I've seen and experienced this Godzilla movie through that. And it's just weird because it's my favorite Godzilla movie. And maybe that's the reason why, because I experienced it at such a very young age that you don't remember anything, but for some reason it is my favorite Godzilla movie. I don't understand that, but true story. But that's what happened, but yeah, I just thought that was a kind of a cool story. Like, oh, I guess that's why I like the movie so much. But yeah, #1 favorite Godzilla movie, and that is pretty much my top 10, guys. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And that's my phone. And I'm sorry, Leslie, it took so long to do this, buddy. But yeah, it was just really hard to pick, and yeah, it was fun to do. #1 is easy to pick, but the rest were just hard. There was just so many of them, so many great ones. But like I said, this is my opinions on my top 10. Please respect them, and just like everybody else, everybody should respect everybody's Godzilla opinions, everybody's top 10 list if they have one. Please let me know what your guys's are, either in the video or down in the description or the comments below. Also, my top 10 might change in the future because we got 2 Godzilla movies coming out. The Japanese one next year in 2016, and the 2018 one, Godzilla 2, the sequel to the legendary Godzilla. So who knows? I might like them enough that I might bump them into my top 10 and maybe knock a movie out of the top 10. I'd hate to do it, but never know. Depends on what the movies are like. Or I might think about maybe, I might like this movie more than other. Opinions change, when I keep thinking about them. Rotating. The one that won't rotate is this one. This one is going to stay probably #1 forever. It would take something really drastic to make this not #1 no more. But yeah, that is my top 10. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. And like I said, I'd like to see your guys' top 10 if you guys want to do them. I'd love to see it. And Leslie, I have a request for you. If you're watching this video, I would love, these Japanese Toho Blu-rays. Yeah, these Japanese Toho Blu-rays. If you could do a little quick video of what they look like inside of, not all of them, but I just want 3 specific movies, if it's okay with you. I want to see what it looks like inside Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. Because I'm kind of thinking about getting the Japanese Blu-rays of them. Oh my god, it scared me. I'm thinking about getting the Japanese Blu-rays of them, and yeah, I just love to know what they look like inside, just of those, because the artwork is really nice on front and back, and then on the inside you get those little inside pamphlets, and then the disc art. So yeah, I just like to know what they look like, front and back, and in the inside of the disc art too. If that's alright with you, you know, either in a video or pictures, dude. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and hope you enjoyed this. This really fun and hard video to make. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you want to see more. And until next time, everybody, peace out.